Well, listeners, there is a brand new album out that I know a lot of you are going to be very, very excited about. It comes out on October the 11th, and it's the brand new album for Ad Infinitum called Abyss. And we thought we want to know a little bit more about this amazing album, so let's actually get one of the members on the phone to chat all about it. We've got Nicholas on the phone right now, so welcome to the program, mate.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
No worries. Now, one of the first things that is going to hit everybody when they sit down and listen to this album is there's a really fresh new sound there. And I was wondering if you could tell us, was that something that you all talked about during the planning of this album?
Well, I guess you mean most of all the switch from the symphonic elements to a more modern production if it comes to soundscapes and atmospheres, right?
Yes, yeah.
It was exactly. Yeah. It was. This is the most asked question, by the way. It was not an initial idea to entirely leave this orchestral production behind. It was more like we don't want to limit ourselves. We will write the song or the songs plural, and we will see what the song needs and asks for. And we didn't want to say every song gets orchestral elements whether it needs it or not. We just wanted to question that. And in the end, it ended up like nearly every song only had this modern production and no symphonic elements. But it was nothing that we decided from the very beginning on. We just didn't want to limit ourselves.
Yeah. Did it worry you at all that might alienate some fans, or was that something that, I know it's a big decision to have to make because you want to stay true to your music as well. So did you feel that was a big decision to make?
No, I don't think so. I can read it now in the comments that it apparently was a big decision. But I can totally understand that people might be a little overwhelmed because we've always been kind of symphonic metal with the first three albums and did this acoustic album that was also very kind of symphonic. So that people might be a little bit surprised, but in the end, the core element of the music, it is the same. When you compare it, for example, to Chapter 3 Downfall, it's the same people writing the music. It's kind of the same style. It's just like the overall atmosphere that kind of changed.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that have also raised the question too. Did you feel that you kind of went out of your comfort zone a little bit? And if so, do you like to push the boundaries like that when you're working on an album?
We do. Absolutely. As I said earlier, we kind of didn't want to limit ourselves, and we wanted to try things out. And we wanted to see where this leads us and where this is heading. And for example, just because we're general metal band, we're not allowed to use drum pads or use finger snaps or whatever. We said, no, what the hell, why not? There are so many bands that already did this, I don't know, 10 years ago or something like that. It's like, why should we limit ourselves to those production elements? Why can't we do it? And we did it. And yeah, of course, it's like fresh, exciting. Of course, maybe you're a little bit anxious in the beginning or nervous where this will lead you, but with every song on this album, the outcome was, just great. We were happy with every single song and every single part of the entire production.
Definitely. So for you personally, what did you find was the biggest challenge?
The biggest challenge? Maybe Surrender, the song, the synthwave song. Because when we started writing it, we always, like since Chapter 3 Downfall, we're always writing in song camps where we all are together in the same room in like abandoned hut in the woods, and there we gather and write our music. And when Surrender we first started, I was kind of, I don't know where this leads us. So what's happening? Okay, I don't see the finish line for that song yet, but I won't judge until this idea is thought till the very end.
Yeah. And
then we ended the song we had in the second song camp, and it turned out that I love this song kind of the most from the record. So it's or maybe not the most. It's difficult to say because every single song on this record I have a very strong boundary to. But the skeptical I was in the beginning, the more happy I was in the outcome, where that song led us.
Definitely. So, what kind of things did you find were inspiring you during the songwriting process on this album? Was there something there that was an inspiration, especially with the lyrics?
For the lyrics, I can't directly tell. That's more a Melissa question because she's writing the lyrics. But compared to the first three albums, it's definitely a change because the first three albums were like more inspired by a historical figure, and that's definitely not the case for this album and the next to come. It's more based on emotions and personal experiences. So it's more kind of more relatable and more intimate. Intimate, yeah, if I pronounce it correctly.
Yeah, yeah.
And this was this for the lyrics, and for the general style. It kind of came with the production. We wanted to create moods, or we were in general moods, searching when we wrote those songs. For example, when we wrote Outer Space, we kind of wanted the verse to be like wide open, like you feel when you float in space around, and I think it kind of gives it a little bit of that feeling. I mean, I've never been in space, but it feels very, very light that you can elevate. For example, there was a nice atmosphere that we wanted to capture in that song, and that kind of worked, I guess.
It's interesting that you say that, because one of the feelings I had when I was listening to the album was that it felt like it was taking you on a journey out of the darkness and into the light. Was that something that you were aware of while you were working on the album?
Kind of, yes. I mean, the concept of these three next albums is like actually like we come from abyss, from a dark, weak space where you try to elevate from, and come to the surface, and then you reach Elysium where you're entirely happy and everything's fine. So it's very great to hear that you actually like felt exactly this what we intended to transport there.
Yeah, it was that feeling that it just kept on coming back when I was listening to the album, and I sat down and listened to it a couple of times and got that same feeling each time I was listening to it.
Oh, that's nice. That's very great to hear.
Yeah, the other thing too...
It worked, yay.
The other thing as well that really blew me away with this album was Melissa's vocals. There's something special about her vocals this time around. Could you tell that when you were in the studio? And do you think that is because this album has more of an intimate kind of feel to it?
Yeah, I think the fact that it's not like another figure you're singing about, but more about personal feelings, experiences, and stuff. It makes it feel more personal.
Yep.
I think that's definitely the case, and yeah, I think it's also just with every album we record, we become a little bit more ourselves, us four as a band, as a transporter of emotions.
Yeah.
How I like to call it. And that's great if you like feel that as well, because that just states that we're going in the right direction and we're getting closer to transporting feelings and emotions.
Did the way that you record this album change at all? Of course, with the pandemic behind us, you were able to head into a studio and work on it. Did that change anything, do you feel, working on this album?
It was kind of the same process that we had on Chapter 3 Downfall.
Yep.
But because we're working very close when it comes to recording, we're working very close with Jacob Hansen from Hansen Studios in Ribe, Denmark. And Chapter Downfall was the first album we directly recorded drums at his place. This was a nice feeling and a nice experience for me, and we did that as well for this album. So it already felt like more familiar, and especially like when I compare it to the first two albums, songwriting was more intimate because we could gather in a songwriting camp before we could not because of COVID. Yeah. So it kind of changed for the third album and for the future, but between like the process between the third and Addis, not so much changed. We had more time in songwriting camps. We took more time to finalize ideas and think more about details, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And maybe we will take even more time for the next album, because we just like the situation of a song camp where you gather somewhere and all you do is think about art and music the entire day, and that's just great.
Yeah. This year has been an absolutely amazing year for you for your band. You've been able to tour with the likes of Camelot and Hammerfall. What have you learnt from those tours, and how did you feel being part of those tours?
It felt absolutely amazing, especially to be like on the road and on the travel party and share the stage with those iconic bands. It's really amazing to meet all those people. And they're also nice. That's great. It was a very nice experience to tour the US for the first time, because I've never toured there. I've only played 70,000 Tons of Metal once in 2017, I think. So it was, at least for me and Adrian and Corby, it was entirely new. Melissa already toured in the US with Camelot, so she was one tour ahead. She was the elder one. She knew everything, how everything worked, and could teach us. Yeah, and it was just nice, because like touring an entire different continent. I think I've never been on another continent for that long, for 5 weeks.
Wow!
Entirely, so it was very, very great experience. Yeah. Very new and very fresh, and you just keep on learning. I mean, if you are open-minded, and if you're not like a stubborn, closing your eyes, I'm doing my thing, and this is how I do it, and this is how it works. I know everything with my 29 years. Then you won't learn. But if you're open ears, open eyes, open to people, then you can just have the best time of your life, because you learn so much. And that's what I try to do.
Definitely. And you've already got some big plans for 2025. Of course, you've got a tour with Alvite. You've got a tour with Infected Rain. How do you think these new tracks will go live? And is there any plans at all to end up in Australia at some stage?
I come back to the last point at first. There's nothing fixed yet, but I really hope, and I would really wish for possibility to come to your place and visit your country and play some music for you, because that will be like, wow. I think that's definitely one of the on the bucket list for every musician in Europe. It's like touring Australia. That would be super crazy. that's wow. I would love to do that. So hopefully it will happen.
Awesome.
And the new music. We already like kind of hold a toe or dip the toe in the water with playing Outer Space in the US, playing My Halo on a couple of festival shows. We even sneaked in Aftermath on the Rock Castle Festival in Czech Republic in August, and on Blair in Rock in Italy. So we just tried a little bit how these songs feel and work, and it was outstanding. And the interesting thing is, you write the song in the song camp, you record the song, and you play to it, and you feel it, but it's an entirely different feeling and situation when you play it on stage. For example, My Halo, the breakdown, I was overwhelmed of the feeling of it when we play it live. It's a very slow and like hard, more stoner rock-ish breakdown, but it's so massive. There's such an energy flow I never felt during writing or recording. So it's always like you get a new experience when you play that song live for the first time, for sure. So I can't wait how the other songs feel.
Awesome. Well, we can't wait to hear that either. I know we are running out of time very, very quickly. So I guess to finish off, what would you like to say to your Australian fans out there who are about to sit down and listen to Abyss for the first time on the 11th of October?
I hope that you enjoy the journey, and I hope that you stay with us for the rest of the journey. How long it might be, I don't know, until we will bob until we drop. And hopefully we will see each other in your beautiful country, sharing our music and sharing some time with you guys would be absolutely amazing. One of my biggest wishes to come down to Australia to play some music. That would be fantastic.